What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another trading analytics video. So the market has been on one all week, partially due to a massive blow off top scenario with Nvidia, as well as many other tech names. But understanding what's going on and preparation for the remainder of the month of June is going to be very, very important. But before we get into that, if you guys haven't already, like and subscribe to this channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content. It really helps us out. Now, let's get back to the content. QQQ, as you guys can see, is actually forming a pretty interesting pattern on some of the longer time frames. So we're looking at the hourly chart here, and you see a pretty clear head and shoulders pattern, which looks to be forming. Now, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, we're in the middle of a blow off top scenario. So there is potential for this double top head formation here to be invalidated and continue to rise up. Now, that being said, an invalidation of this pattern still puts us in a strong rising wedge territory, right? So even if the head and shoulder doesn't play out right away, it's still setting up to be a pretty bearish structure. Now, the issue with blow off top scenarios, as you guys probably know, is you don't know where the top is going to come in, right? We can continue skyrocketing until the market decides, hey, we've had enough buying, and we can see some further downside. However, once this either the rising wedge or the head and shoulders pattern plays out on the Qs, you are likely to see a retest of this trend line here on the hourly, which will put us probably around 465, 467 range, ideally on that trend line retest. So putting this line here is the upper end of the trend line retest, which will also coincide with the gap fill and here. So this is the target range for that reset. So let me change the colors. Boom, make them bright and yellow. Nice and yellow, make it a little thicker. And this is our target range on a potential head and shoulders or rising wedge retest. So that's kind of what we're watching on the cues. Now, it all depends on what's the major tech companies are going to be doing and how things, which we're going to get to in a few moments, play out. But let's jump over to some of the other tickers that I want to talk about here. First things first is Meta. So this is actually something we have an active trade in our server. I gave out a swing trade on Meta for a potential downside play. We're gonna look at the daily and the 4-hour chart, and you'll see pretty much on here on the daily, you see exactly what I kind of want to expect to happen. A trend line rejection, which we've already gotten from this level here, and we're likely going to be filling the downside gap on Meta, right? The target range I have outlined is 480 on this zone. I did take I think I took 480 or 485 puts on this ticker heading into the weekend for the middle of July expiration. So I think we have plenty of time. We have about 30 days for that expiration and those options. But looking at the 4-hour, you'll see it a little bit more clear as well. That again, trend line rejection, downside gap fill to close the zone. And that would put us right here at the bottom of the current range we've been trading within, from the all-time high part of 528, 530 range, all the way down here to 480. So we got quite a ways to go down for Meta to have that downside play out and have those hope puts be a mega multi-bagger. But the most important line for us to lose right now would be this midpoint line at 502. We lose 502. We lost it briefly on Friday, prior to a reclamation with a end of day rally. But if we lose 502 with some volume on a 4-hour daily candle, then we're going to be on a pretty fast track back down here to 480, which would be the continuation of another head and shoulders pattern on a major ticker, right? So that's Meta. And finally, we're going to take a look at Amazon. Again, another trade that we've given out on our server. I'm actually still I'm holding runners on this Amazon play, which actually started to return about 73% since we gave out the alert. And as you can see here, this is pretty self-explanatory as well on the details of the chart. So you can see that we have, oops, we had a triple top play here. Short-term target area for shorts is about 183. We got candle closes below 183. And we saw some pretty strong downside too. We got a bounce here about 182 on Friday afternoon. And now we're trending at about 183.66, which puts us right back here above this yellow line. Jump over to the 4-hour so you can see it again. Boom. So the ideal scenario would be for us to lose this line again, going into Monday trading, lose this pretty medium-sized area of support at 182, which would head us down to the bottom area of support of 174 within about a week or two span as well, as long as the volume continues to hold. Amazon is pretty consistent in rejecting and trading along chart patterns. So I have a very high likelihood this is going to play out as well. So something I'm very, very excited about, to hold my runners for hopefully another 200% play on these going forward. So these are something we discussed for within our server as we're getting ready for our account challenge to continue into the month of June and July. And pretty excited about what we got in store for our members to take this 1,000, 10,000 challenge, hopefully to the next level and go from 10,000 to 50,000 before the end of the year. So you can see that here on the side of the screen. But again, with Meta, Amazon, and Q's, like I was talking about here, a lot of this is dependent on the blow off top scenario cooling off in the overall tech sector. AI has been a huge, huge, huge buzz name for the last few months, really, and AI is very, very strong. We saw Avgo pumping like crazy into Friday trading. We saw obviously Nvidia, as I mentioned, SMCI had a run earlier in the week. It's AI. Even Adobe, with its tangentially related AI news, has been a rocket ship for a lot of investors going forward. So I think again, the inevitable scenario is that we're going to retest these lows when these either head and shoulders pattern or these rising wedges are going to start playing out in a reasonable amount of time. It's just a matter of when the buying can stop. But in any case, guys, this is a little bit of a weekend update video. I want to give you guys some insight into what I think is going to happen in the market into next week and the week after, as well as the following weeks, I should say. But in any case, I've been Trade Runner. This is Trading Analytics. Thanks for watching.